So we've got g of x is 5 if this is true, if x is less than or equal to negative 1, and 2x minus 1 if it's greater than negative 1. No, you can have 2.
Mr. Austin, didn't you say it here?
Yeah, we're just graphing it. You can have 2 rules, you can have 5 rules. There's actually no limit.
Graph it without getting the answers.
Because I'm just sketching the lines that I know that follow each of these 2 rules, either y equals 5 or 2x minus 1. Now y equals 5, we've kind of talked about that. What's that look like? If it's y equals a number, what kind of graph is it?
Oh, it's horizontal.
Horizontal through what? There you go. So y equals 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a horizontal line. Well, there's a reason I'm using a pencil. That way I can erase the stuff I don't use. Now, if you're working in pen, make that line a dotted line or a very faint line so that you can ignore it later. Yes?
Okay, wait. You know how you said it's a horizontal graph?
Yeah.
What else? Like, can you name? I want to write it down. Like, what are all the other graphs and how do you know?
We'll talk more about those a bit. Just remember that if it's y equals a number, it's horizontal with a slope of 0. What about a 2x minus 1? What's my intercept? Think back, y equals mx plus b. What's that? Negative 1. Okay. So there's negative 1. And what's my slope?
Wait.
2.
2.
2. So if the slope is 2 over 1, I go up 2, 1, 2 over 1. Up 2, 1, 2 over 1. So there's my other line. And that's y equals, yes, 2x minus 1. Now, I've got my 2 functions. I just have to mark off the parts I'm using for those spots. And the changeover happens at negative 1. So at what's up?
That doesn't make sense because you said up to over 1 went down.
From this point, 1, 2 over
is that
1.
a negative?
Yep.
Oh.
It's negative 1, so I start at negative 1. Start at the intercept. Follow the slope. 1, 2 over 1. 1, 2 over 1. Remember, what happens a lot to a slope, you guys like to start at the origin, like you're marking, like your plotting points, or they're 2 different things. Now, I'm also going to go through and make a line at negative 1 in order to mark off where everything changes. So since I only have 2 rules, I only have 1 change point. That's right there at negative 1. So before that, to the left of it, where I'm in the negatives, I'm following the first rule of y equals 5, right? So everything to the left of that dotted line is y equals 5. At negative 1, which is included? Do I include the 5, or do I use that point to jump down here? Is negative 1 part of the first rule or the second rule? Part of the first rule. So I make a solid dot there. To the right of the line, as I go past negative 1, I get bigger than it. I follow the other equation. That's this guy. And I don't include it, so I make an open circle right there to show that. With your piecewise graphs, they're kind of like those wooden trains you played with as a kid, where the train track, the end of it, you had one piece that looked like that, and then you had another one that looked like this. So they latched together. It's the same idea here. You have to have a solid dot and an open dot, because at one point these 2 lines may have been linked. Shoot. This is an open dot down here and a solid dot up there. That's at negative 1.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
You see the open dot? Where is it?
It's at negative 1.
No.
Yeah.
I thought it was just where the line like went.
Yeah, where the red dotted line right here is at -1 for the x's, because that's the point where I switch from the top line to the bottom line.
It's not -1, -1.
Right. It's not -1, -1. It's -1,
Like through 2.
-3 actually. Now I'll go through with my pencil and I'll erase off the extra lines so they don't confuse me. So I'll get rid of those. And there's my final answer. Oh, for crying out loud.
I like it when it's all moving.
That's as close as it gets.
Thank you.
I will come up there.
Now, if you've got, trust me, not with this eraser, you're not, because this one's crud. If you've got a pencil to use, so you can do this, it's a little easier to see. If you're working in pen, you can use dotted lines to get to the big ideas, and then solid lines to fill it all in.